Hello everyone, I'm Aprajita Singh and I'm here to present one of my PhD papers on measuring marginal abatement cost of pollution of Kanpur leather industry, a directional distance function approach. To give a brief background, industrial pollution is a serious concern in India with a significant increase in the number of grossly polluting industries that discharge harmful chemicals directly into the Indian rivers. And most of these non-compliant industries come from the state of Uttar Pradesh, and particularly Kanpur city in the state is one of the most polluted stretches over the largest river basin of India, which is the Ganges. Presently, India has resorted to command and control regulations for controlling industrial pollution, but these regulations are often criticized for being overambitious as they impose a uniform standard on the discharge of effluents and they do not account for different ability of firms in reducing pollution. Literature emphasizes on designing environmental regulations that minimizes the compliance cost burden on industries so that the full potential benefits of the regulations can be realized. And increasingly, market-based instruments are being emphasized in the policy because they provide adequate incentives for adopting least cost pollution control measures. However, in India, implementation of market-based instrument is very experimental in stage because it requires information on emission load and abatement cost, which is not readily available due to the absence of pollutant markets or prices. So therefore, the objective of our study was to measure the cost of abating pollution for one of the most water polluting industry in India, which is the Kanpur leather industry. And then we estimate the efficiency of leather firms in abating two undesirable outputs, which are the total suspended solids and chromium. Then we examine the efficiency of the existing command and control regulations in reducing leather pollution, and we compare it with an alternative regulatory policy of market-based instrument. The data for the study was collected through a fieldwork conducted in the study area of Kanpur city in 2018, and most of the pollution related data was collected from the Uttar Pradesh Pollution Control Board, while the production related data was collected from the annual survey of industry office of Kanpur. And for the analysis, 61 tanneries were taken. Moving on to the variables, in order to model the production technology of the firms, we have taken three inputs, which are the capital, labor, and intermediate inputs, and they are producing three outputs for the firm, which is one is a good output, which is the leather output, and two are the bad outputs, which are the TSS and the chromium. The most commonly used method to represent the technology of polluting firms in the literature is the directional distance function approach, as it can simultaneously model the expansion of the good output with a contraction in the bad output. And it undertakes three main assumptions. First is the null jointness, which assumes that production of good output is always accompanied with the production of bad output. Then second is that of weak disposability, which assumes that disposal of bad output is a costly activity, and basically it means that reducing bad output requires resources, and therefore it diverts resources away from the production of good output towards reduction of the bad output. And third is that of strong disposability, which assumes free disposal of the good output. As we are measuring the cost of abatement, we require a functional form, and here we are assuming a quadratic distance function because of its flexibility. And the value of the distance function will give us the technical inefficiency and represent the possibility of simultaneous expansion in the good output and contraction in the bad output, provided the firms are operating efficiently on the production frontier. And this value of the directional distance function will always be greater than equal to 0, where a value 0 would represent an inefficient firm, while a positive value of the directional distance function will represent an inefficient firm. Directional vectors play a very important role in the distance function as they can depict different policy scenarios. And in our case, we have taken three scenarios where the first number would represent the direction for the good output and the second number would represent the direction of the bad output. So in the first case, we have the direction 1, 0, which represents increasing good output with no change in the bad output. And this represents the scenario of no regulations. In the second case, we have the direction of 1, minus 1, which represents increasing good output while reducing bad output, and it represents a balanced policy. And in the third case, we have the direction of 0, minus 1, which represent a stringent policy of reducing bad output with no change in the good output. Using these directions, we estimate the parameters of the directional distance function using a linear programming approach developed by Eigner and Chu to minimize the sum of deviations of each from the frontier, and the constraints are actually the properties of the production functions. Once the parameters of the directional distance functions are estimated, the marginal abatement cost is derived using the duality relationship between the output distance function and the revenue function, and this is called often the shadow price of the bad output, and the formula for this is given here. So this basically, the shadow price reflects the opportunity cost of reducing bad output in terms of the foregone revenue from producing the good output due to diversion of resources towards pollution abatement activities. Coming to the empirical results, we see that the value of the directional distance function is greater than 0 in all the three strategies, which implies that leather firms are operationally inefficient under all the three strategies. However, the mean efficiency is lower for the strategies where firms are reducing bad outputs in comparison to where there is no change in the bad output. Looking at the shadow price results, we see that the average shadow price of TSS is 51, 291 and 587 USD per kg for the three directional vectors respectively, implying that reducing TSS by 1 kg would cost 51, 291 and 587 USD for these strategies. However, for chromium, we find that for less stringent strategies, the shadow price of chromium is 0, implying that chromium can be disposed of with TSS and along with other pollutants without any additional cost. However, the shadow price of chromium is very high for the stringent policy because chromium is an input unlike TSS and has no close substitute. So increasing reductions in chromium become very expensive. When we compare our results with other studies in the literature, we find that our estimated abatement costs are higher because the sample firms are small-scale enterprises that face sustainability issue, lack technical expertise, and also access to finance. Now we look at the reasons why shadow price of pollutants varies across firms based on the factors like age, size, capital intensity, labor intensity, and the pollutant intensity of our firms. Our results show that age negatively impacts shadow price, implying that newer firms have higher shadow price. And this is because newer firms tend to use modern technology and therefore they are more cleaner. So any increasing reduction of pollutants become increasingly difficult and therefore the marginal cost increases. For size, we see a positive impact on shadow price, implying that large firms have higher shadow price. And this is because in our case, the larger firms are the ones who are meeting the regulatory standards more closely than the smaller firms. And therefore, these firms are more cleaner and any extra, reduction in the pollutant again becomes more expensive for them. In the case of capital intensity, the impact is insignificant, while the impact of labor intensity depends on the strategy and the pollutant chosen. And in the case of pollution intensity, we find a negative impact on the shadow price, implying that dirtier firms have lower shadow prices. So overall, from these results, what we find is that an efficient policy should allocate a higher burden on those firms which have lower shadow prices, that is, which can reduce pollution at a lower cost. And from our results, we find that this burden should be laid more on the older firms, smaller firms and dirtier firms for a cost-effective pollution reduction. Alternatively, if we allow a market-based instrument like discharge trading of TSS among firms based on their sizes, like small firms trade discharge with other small firms, likewise for the medium and large firms, here the average shadow price can determine the market price of the permits. And in this case, if we allow firms which have higher abatement cost more than the market prices, they can trade with those which can abate pollutant below the market prices. And definitely in our results, we see that if the firm with the highest abatement cost trades with the one with the minimum abatement cost, there is always a positive saving in the compliance cost when we are using a market-based instrument in comparison to the command and control policy which is existing in this industry currently. To conclude, our results show that leather firms have significant abatement potential and win-win opportunities to improve their economic and environmental performance. The estimated shadow price of pollutants are significantly higher as they show that leather firms face financial constraints in adopting cleaner activities under the command and control regulations. Heterogeneity in the shadow price across firms show that uniform standards have not led to optimal allocation of resources for pollution abatement, and therefore the use of market-based instruments like tradable permits would be more effective for firms to minimize their compliance cost. This paper has been recently published in the Journal of Regulatory Economics and one can find the link here. At last, I would like to thank all of you.